Hey folks, welcome to another Regalia and Chill deck profile. My name is Pat and I'm going to be showing you the Panda deck that I've been working on for the past few weeks. It's a red, white, blue control variant, but first I'd like to thank Jeremy Franklin or DMO73 for letting me host a video for his video takeover week. But I'm going to be showing you guys the deck that I've been working on that I've been using for locals for probably the past 2 weeks. I've been doing quite a bit of playtesting, and it's not quite where I want it, but it's been showing some decent results. So without further ado, I'll show you some of my choices and decisions that I've made and give you the ins and outs of my deck profile. So for starters, guys, I'm going to start with the ruler, and then we're going to Alright, so I'm going to be starting off with the ruler. Our ruler today is Taegrus Pearlshine. So he is a generic white ruler, Judgment for 2 white and 1, and Energize for white. And then all he does at the start of the turn is it provides a gem of any attribute. So what the gem mechanic is it's actually new for Force of Will. What it does is you have a gem of each attribute, so I believe it's one of each will, technically they have a color for, and it's just an item that's placed in the item zone, which is also a new section for Force Will right now, which is supposedly under your ruler, that you can put your gems of any color, or your items, your will coins, stuff like that. And as you start the game, what he does is he just provides you with any gem of any attribute. So you can choose red, white, black, green, you name it, blue. And what the deck is going to be focused on is using those gems for certain abilities. So he does have a mystery ability that hasn't been translated yet. Hopefully we will receive this in probably the next set or not so distant future. But on his other side, Taegrus Pearlshine, when he enters the field, you choose a gem color, red, white, blue, yellow, or red, white, blue, green, black, and then it provides 2 of that same attribute for a gem. So if you pick red, you're getting 2 red gems, white, 2 white gems. He can also get rid of a white gem once per turn to give him plus 500, so he becomes a 13 attack, 13 defense, and then if you remove a blue gem, he actually gets flying. So we're going to move on to the deck, starting with the 4 ofs. I play 4 Gem Trader. What Gem Trader does is when he enters the field, you gain a light gem. Light gems are the most relevant and easiest gems to gather from this deck. I don't know why, since most of the effects don't require too many light gems. Well, the win condition does now, but there are other colors that would be nice to expand upon. He's a 3/3, just when he enters he gains a gem. He's not too big, but he's not bad for a 1-drop. I could consider dropping maybe 1, but at this moment we don't have enough ways to get gems consistently while keeping up with other decks where I'd want to take him out. Play 4 Africa, Dancer in the White Mist. So she's a Dragonoid, which will be relevant later on. When this card enters the field, you can remove target other Resonators. She's been eroded for later printing that she doesn't target just herself, but she targets another Resonator and removes it till the next end phase. So this is kind of like Lumia, where you can just flash other cards in. You can take advantage of this if you go turn 1 Gem Trader or any other ability, enter ability creatures that you have on your board, and then just flicker them in at the end phase. And then she also gives Pandas plus 200, not just Resonators, but J-Rulers also. So they all potentially gain +2, and that's actually a pretty big deal every now and then when you're getting into the game, because she can make your board get a little bit beefier, and it's harder for your opponent to deal with at times. Also, her best effect is when she's sent to the graveyard. From the field to the graveyard, you can search your deck for any Panda and add it to your hand, which is pretty relevant since this deck is mostly, it's not control oriented, but it has small combos within itself where searching out Pandas are it's a very good utility for the deck, and I wouldn't play any less than 4. For 3-ofs, we have Shin Chan Ray Ray, Acrobatic Twins. What he does is he's 1,000 attack, 1,000 defense. He's a 5-drop, 2 white, 3. When this card enters the field, you remove 2 light counters, and then you can cast any Panda from your deck to the field, including himself. So if you like to use the strategy where you're stacking up white gems, which I relatively do, even though I don't focus on it too much, if you get 4 white gems at the end of the day, you can literally cast himself again and then use the effect over again. So you could potentially have 3 bodies in play, and then just have an outstanding board for a 5 cost. And most of the deck's win condition is usually to make an overpowerful board where you're just using Shin Chan Ray Ray and then just summoning or casting another Shin Chan Ray Ray, and then just bringing out one of the few Pandas that I'm going to be bringing up next, which is one of the best Pandas, in my opinion, is Gemblade Emerald. When you control, well, an 8 attack, 8 defense, when you control a wind gem, and G cost 4, when you control a wind gem, when you cast him, what he does is that he selects up to 4 stones that you control and then recovers them. So you're potentially casting him for free. And 8 attack and 8 defense is not really anything to laugh at, even though with a 4-drop there are better cards, but using the combo with Shin Chan and Ray Ray, you can bring him out and just recover your stones back and make a nice decent control play while having a board of 3 huge resonators potentially, or just casting himself if you draw him in your hand is potentially free, and he can get bigger with Ophrga on the field also. So this card's pretty relevant to play. I am hit or miss with how many I should play. I'm trying 2 out right now because I don't potentially always need to draw him. He doesn't really do anything except, cast himself for free, but it's at a turn 4 where, like I said, there are probably more plays and outs that can easily get rid of him for your opponent, where I wouldn't necessarily want to keep drawing him over and over and over again. But nonetheless, he's really good. I play 2 Mephistopheles because the deck can create a board pretty easily. Having 2 Resonators is not a problem, including himself. I'm usually casting 2 Resonators at a time by turn 3 anyways. So Mephistopheles is a great control card against your opponent if you're having problems with Resonators, especially since the deck can have giant attacking creatures. I would recommend at least trying to play Mephistopheles in a deck, especially if it's a red-white variant. I played 2 Gem Minister Garnets, 3-drop, 5/9. When the card enters the field, you gain a gem of any attribute and draw a card. He's probably the most flexible way to get a gem for a Resonator right now, and he has a giant defense. The fact that he's a 5/9 means he's not an out to a 1-drop burn spell, which is great. With the Ophrga on the field, he's a 7/11, and that's not a bad creature to be able to swing with or block with at the time. So he has a decent body by himself, while he can replace himself with the gain a gem and drawing a card. I'm messing around with the amount that I should play. I started with 3, but I brought him down to 2, just because a lot of the deck is searchable. So at the same time, I don't need to be drawing as many as him as I did see at the time. So I'm trying out 2 for now. But he is a good card, and I do recommend at least playing 2 of them. 2 to Regula. Regula actually works really well in this deck. I would almost bump it up to 3 if I knew exactly what I would want to take out for now. But unfortunately, I'm sticking with 2 at the moment. What she does is that she can either revive your ruler if it was astral, or you can choose a target Dragonoid in your graveyard and cast it to the field, which, well, this target does meet the criteria for it, and she also gives her an additional 200 boost, so she becomes a 600/600 that also boosts pandas, and then when she dies, she gets to search for another panda. I really do love the combos that Regula can bring with the deck, and like I said, if I knew what to take out, I'd probably bump her to 3. She just has she's just a great utility in this deck by herself that I would see no reason to play any less than 2. And then for the last resonator that I've been trying out was the 1-drop Lumia, Praying to the Future. Willow Hope doesn't matter. Resonance, a light magic stone, target a card in your grave and add to your hand. So there's not that many ways that I've been able to get gems. And the fact that I've been needing more turn 1 plays showed that I probably wanted to try to create a better tempo for this deck where I could be a little more resonator heavy. The bad thing about her is that her effect is mandatory, but what she does is when a light magic stone does enter the field after you call for stone, you can target a card in your grave and you put it on top of the deck if it's a stone or a card, which was decent in theory, but the more I'm playing with her, the more I realize that I don't really need her, so I may be taking her out. But it was a theory to just recur cards that I needed from the graveyard or combo pieces so I could just start casting my Shin Chan Ray Ray again, or my Regula if I ever need to start bringing back creatures. But I could either try maybe one more, or I can just take her out because I wasn't really liking her through testing. For chant lineups, little spell lineups, I played 4 Discovery. Quick cast, gain a gem of any attribute, draw a card. This is relevant for just getting your gems right away. I've been playing 4 Crimson Rays. Quick cast, deal 600 damage to target player or J/Resonator, and then you gain 600. This deck needs removal to survive, so I thought this would be the best way to implement that because dealing 600 is just the right amount for most turn 2 or lower resonators these days. So this card can not only can strike the player, but it also always gains life, even if it doesn't have to kill a resonator. So there's multi-purposes for this card, and I really do like it. I've been playing 3 Profitable Transactions. It's a quick cast. It actually has 5 abilities. You banish a light gem. If you do, you rest a target creature, resonator. Or if you banish a fire gem, you deal 600. That's the one that I use the most. I usually start with a red gem for my strategy, just so if I do draw into these early games, it gives my opponents more problems with their resonators that are just like stuff that they normally throw at you, like Shade, Sylvia, and you know the other Abdul, 6 drops or 600 attackers and 600 defenders that just give a lot of people problems. Continuing on, if you banish a blue gem, you can return target creature to the hand. And then if you banish a green gem, you can draw a card. And if you banish a dark gem, you can discard a card. And you can choose all 5 at once if you wanted to. It's a very flexible card, and I could bump it up to 4 if I really felt like it. 2 Dawn of the Earths, this deck being aggro, yet at the same time one of the best outs to Fox right now. I wanted to main this card no matter what. If I were to bump it to 3, I'm not sure, but I've been liking 2 so far. I've been drawing enough where I've been able to get the most out of the effects. If you do play against Fox, try to do a hard mull and try to get this card as quickly as possible because it will help you out in the long run. Quick cast. 2 Magic Suites. I target J/Resonator you control gains +2/+2 and barrier. I was using this more to protect my creatures after I create an established board. I'm probably going to be taking this card out because it's not being as effective as I want it to be. And I thought this would be a good answer to Key's Call, but I was just informed that Keys Call doesn't actually target Resonator, targets the ability, so it's becoming less and less relevant for me. So I'm probably going to end up taking it out, but it's not a bad side card for decks that target like red and black. 2 Keys Calls for, you know, all half the Resonators that have automatic abilities. This is great against Fox, and this is great against heavy control decks that just slap down bombs left and right. Only 2 of right now. I would side another one. And then Dreams of Flight. I wouldn't play any more though than 2. I was potentially thinking of cutting it down to 1, but 2 was working for me. And then for the last chant that I play is the Jewel Shields. It's a quick cast. You can have your target Resonator gain plus 200 until end of turn. And then, before that, you gain a gem of any attribute. So then your target Resonator gains plus 200 defense, and then it gains plus 100 defense for each different gem attribute you control. So potentially, I was using the sword at first, but I felt like my creatures were always suiciding into things regardless, so I thought the gem would be better for trying to save my Resonators while getting a gem at the same time, while potentially being able to block lethal attacks. So I thought this would be a good cause to try to test out one of them. I haven't drawn it too much where I can really give it an opinion, but so far the shield and sword seem a little lackluster. For the stone lineup, I play 4 of the Awakening Magic Stones, the Earth, just because he is a white ruler, so when you do untap him, or when you do Judgment Taegrus, they recover, and that's pretty important for just having access to basically playing your ruler for almost nothing. And it's a red-white, so I do play 4 of those. I'm playing 3 Magic Stone of Light Vapor, just because my deck does play blue for the Dawn of the Earth, Stinkys' Call. And then 2 Ores of the Mountain. It's just a white stone, but when it enters the field you gain a white gem. I cut it down to 2 recently because I realized that I was gaining white gems pretty frequently, where I didn't need to worry about making my stone lineup any more fragile than it is, just because I play 3 colors, so it can be potentially inconsistent, so I cut this down to 2. And just because I want to see red a lot more often, I decided to play 1 Magic Stone of Heatray, which is a red-white. So overall, I don't have a completed side deck for this because I've been going back and forth and I've been putting a lot of testing in. What this deck's hardest matchup I see is faster decks like Persea. Fox it can sustain, but Persea and decks that just rush are just lately a huge problem, which is where my red-white mix comes in, because using your profitable transactions and Crimson Rays are really relevant to get rid of quick Resonators. This deck can probably only stand a chance if you are able to get rid of the Resonators early enough and then start building a board. Other than that, this deck has been potentially doing pretty well. It does great against control, and it has a 50-50 chance with Fox, with the blue stuff, with the Keys' Call and Dawn of the Earth that I've recently put in. It's been showing pretty good results against tier deck-wise, but like I said, it has a lot more to... I have a lot more to work on with this, and I'm not going to be giving this up anytime soon. It's a great ruler. He's fun. It's very not straightforward. It's an interesting deck to play overall, and I enjoy the mechanic that they have for it so far. I can't wait for them to figure out what the other effects are going to be. Hopefully it's something that makes him shine. No pun intended. But other than that, this deck has been great to playtest with, and like I said before, if you guys are looking for something fun to pick up or something, you know, worth experimenting with, give this Panda a try. You'll enjoy him a lot, even though, like I said, he's not a solid tier 1 deck. I would like to thank DMO73 for letting our Regalia and Chill channel host deck profile on the video takeover week, and I hope you guys did enjoy my video, and If you guys do like watching more forceful YouTube deck profiles and matches, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to Regalia and Chill, and there will be more content posted your way for your viewers to see. So I'd like you guys to stay tuned, and thank you for watching.